Standard form. Given the following values of x and y, now question asks you to evaluate the following. That means you need to find the value of the following and you can use your calculator. And the final answer should come in the form of a standard form. So we shall begin with the first one. I have 2x minus y squared, and I were to replace each and every value by 2 times x value and subtract the y value square after which we can actually use our calculator to help us to calculate the answer. There's two types of method. You can, number one, use the scientific mode in your calculator to get to the answer in standard form directly, or you can also use the normal mode in your calculator and then convert the answer to standard form. So let me calculate this value. And my calculator gives me the answer 1.776 times 10 to the power negative 15, where I get it in standard form directly. Part 2, something similar. Now I have x over y times 10 to the power of negative 5. Take note of the Bodmer's rule. This one will have to come first. Okay, so replace the individual value. X value is 9.6, 10 to the power negative 16. Y value is 1.2, negative 8, and then multiplied with 10 to the power negative 5. Now let's take a look at this part of the question. What is the main total power over here? I have 10 to the power minus 8 and 10 to the power negative 5. When I have multiplication, the power add together. So in this case, I will get a total of 1.2 times 10 to the power of negative 13. And then use the calculator to calculate this value. I can either use my scientific mode or I can use my normal mode. So in this case, using the normal mode, I will have this answer. But this answer is not in standard form. So I need to change it into a number that is more than 1 but less than 10. So where should I put my decimal place value? So the number here in this case will be 8. So I need to get it to be 8 times 10 to the power of something. This is a very small number, so it will be 10 to the power of negative power. And I will have, this is the decimal place. I need to shift 1, 2, 3 times of the decimal place. So I need 2 times 10 to the power negative 3. And that will be the answer. Next part of the question, write the following number in standard form. Now this is a very, very small number, and I have the numbers 537 over here, the main key numbers. I need to express the whole thing in standard form by writing it as a number that is more than 1 but less than 10 times 10 to the power of something. So where should I put my decimal place to be? In this case, it should be 5.37, right? So if I were to have my decimal place to be at 5.37, I'll need to multiply by 10 to the power of a positive or a negative power. Which one is it? This is a very small number, so the power will be negative. So we will have negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this will be power of negative 6. 5.37 times 10 to the power of negative 6. Next question. The population of Singapore was this number, and the area of Singapore is this amount of number kilometer square. Find the average number of people per square kilometer, meaning people per means I'm going to take it to divide by square kilometers, meaning kilometer square. So what do they actually want in this question? They want the number of people divided by the area. So answer for the average in this case will be the number of people divided by the total area. And then after which we need to express our numbers in standard form. So let's calculate the answer first. The number using my normal mode on my calculator is 7618.38. I can round this off to 3 sig fig, and then I write the number in standard form. So it will be 7620 in 3SF. But they want the answer in standard form, so this is a big number. I have to represent this in terms of a number bigger than 1 but smaller than 10. So what will be the number? So this number will be 7.62 times 10 to the power of, would it be a positive or would it be a negative number? In this case, it will be a positive number, positive power. So this is my decimal place, and I need to shift to 1, 2, 3 over here, times 10 to the power 3 to make it become a large number. And this units will be people per kilometer square. Up next, we are going to apply the standard form into solving some of the word problems. In this case here, actually involves some words such as, for example, the population in Hong Kong is approximately 7.16 million. And while the population in Singapore is approximately 5.31 million. So now let's do a quick recall of some of our different terms. First, we know that all the different special terms actually comes from 10 to the power of 3 that increase in multiples of 3. 10 to the power of 6, 10 to the power of 9, 10 to the power of 12. 10 to the power of 3 is actually in 1000. 10 to the power of 6 will be million. 10 to the power of 9 will be billion. And 10 to the power of 12, trillion. Another version of the form, we can also talk about different units in terms of kilometers, kilo. So for 10 to the power of 3, 10 to the power of 6 will be mega. 10 to the power of 9 is giga. And 10 to the power of 12, tera. So now let's take a look at the smaller versions. I have 10 to the power of negative 3, 10 to the power of negative 6, negative 9, and negative 12. So for those that are actually very small, we will call it the milli for 10 to the power of negative 3. You can put the millipede under the microscope, so 10 to the power of negative 6 is actually the micro. And 10 to the power of negative 9, 9 actually stands for N for nano. And 10 to the power of negative 12, pico. So now we are ready to start with our calculations. So our question part A says, giving your answer in standard form, calculate how many more people live in Hong Kong than in Singapore. Now when we want to calculate such a difference, what do we need to do? We need to do subtraction. So it's quite obvious that Hong Kong will have more people than Singapore, right? So our difference of how many more people in part A will be the difference. We'll need to take, Hong Kong has 7.16 million. But what does million stands for in terms of standard form? Million stands for 10 to the power of 6. So this is 10 to the power of 6. And similarly for Singapore, this one will also be 10 to the power of 6. So answer back to my question, I will have 7.16 times 10 to the power of 6. This portion represents the million. To subtract 5.31 million, so it will be 10 to the power of 6 again. And we shall leave this to our calculator. Using the normal mode, it gives me the answer 185.8 Okay, so I will have to express this in standard form. If those of you who are familiar with using the scientific mode in your calculator, you can convert this answer to the standard form directly. So then it will be, I will need this number to be bigger than 1 but smaller than 10. So it will be 1.85. Let's consider our decimal place, 1.85. So in this case, I need to shift and make sure the number increases. So it's times 10 to a positive number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this will be 1.85 times 10 to the power of 6. Part B. Oh, happened that this question is also talking about population density, and it mentioned people per square kilometer. So this is telling me people per kilometer square. I take the population divide by the area. Given that the land area of Hong Kong is approximately so much and that Singapore is so much, determine with reasons which country has a higher population density. So what we're going to do now, we're going to find the population density. Population density for, let's start off with Hong Kong. Hong Kong population density is people divide by the land area. So the people is 7.16 times 10 to the power of 6, 7.6 million, divide by 1104 kilometers square. So they give me 1104 kilometers square already. So notice that this units here is the same, right? So we don't need to do any unit conversion, and we can try to get our answers directly. For this part of my answer, I got on my normal mode 6,485. Okay, 0.5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6 feet people per kilometer square. Then let's take a case for Singapore. Population density for Singapore is the population 5.31 times 10 to the power 6 because of the million, divided by the land area that's given to me, 710. And this gives me a population density of approximately 7478.956 feet. So comparing this to which country has a higher population density? The one with Singapore has a population density of 7478.9 people per kilometer square. Therefore, Singapore has a higher population density.